Car Obsession is proudly supported by Carly and Draggy. Check out the video description to find out the latest discount codes. Electric cars. Nowadays there is plenty of choice. Some offer good value, some are pioneers, and some can even be quirky. What happens if one is Audi? Well, you get this, the Audi e-tron GT, a sleek, stylish four-door coupe that can crack 62 miles per hour in a little over 4 seconds and can, in theory, transport you in comfort for around 300 miles. Not only is the e-tron GT comfortable, but as the 0 to 62 time will suggest, it's pretty fast as well. This car offers 376 horsepower along with 640 Newton meters of torque. Now, in case you find that to be a little bit lethargic for your liking and you've got a bit more cash to splash about, there is another way. You can get this as an RS version that offers up to 646 horsepower. Yes, 646. Now, for what it's worth, this car does have a boost mode, therefore it can offer up to 530 horsepower. And well, I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I wasn't to try the boost mode. So, shall we do that? Yeah, let's do that. So to help me with this very important test, I have a Draggy. So let's see how fast we can get to 60 miles per hour. Granted, this road is quite beaten, it isn't flat, it is far from perfect, but hey, may as well give it a go. So left foot on the brake, right foot on the other pedal, on the accelerator, and oh my God. Oh, I think I've just climaxed. Oh my word. Four seconds to 60 miles per hour, and it was very verified, which I find surprising because the road down here isn't fantastic. Right, go again. God, this is addictive. Right. Oh, my face is melting. 60. Oh my God. Genuinely, I've never known acceleration like that before. That is astounding. It's face bending. It's stomach churning. Oh my word. As much of a petrol head as I am, I will concede, I don't think any ICE car can match that the sheer, I can't even summon the words. The sheer ferocity. Is that even a word? I don't even know at this point. An ICE car simply cannot match the savagery of that kind of acceleration. Oh my! I'm going to go one more time. Okay, so last run was 4.39 seconds, so a little bit slower. I'm going to go one more time. Oh my God! I could actually do this all day. Right, okay, one more time. Oh. So that last one was 4.11, so what have we got? We've got 4 seconds dead to 60, then 4.39, then 4.11 seconds. Staggering, genuinely staggering. I have no words. That power in its own right is impressive, but even more so when you bear in mind this car weighs 2.3 tonnes, so a featherweight this is not. So you may think that when you come to a twisty bit like I have done now, that this car will feel heavy and cumbersome in the corners. Well, you would be dead wrong. This car, of course, has the quattro all-wheel drive system, but this is an electrified system that Audi themselves state is 5 times faster compared to a mechanical setup. And my word, it is earning its payout here right now. It is fantastic. The steering, oh, it's so responsive, it's so fast, maybe a bit too fast in some points. It does take a bit of time to get used to, but because the steering has got such a speed to it, it makes the e-tron GT feel almost agile in the corners. And that sounds crazy to say because you wouldn't expect a car of this size and weight to feel agile through the corners, but this has got some relative agility to it. It's very, very impressive. Audi has been hard to give the car an even weight distribution. The batteries are mounted low in the car and they are mounted between the 2 axles to give, yes, a better weight distribution. Now, if you go for the Vorsprung or the RS model, you will get a carbon fibre roof as well to help with weight saving. Oh, yes, come on! Oh, man, that is impressive. Genuinely impressive. Wow. The brakes also perform well. I've got to mention the brakes. I've driven a few EVs and hybrids for that matter, and quite often the brake pedal just feels numb. It's almost as if it's been given a local anaesthetic, but that isn't the case in the e-tron GT. The brake pedal's got a nice firm feedback to it. It really gives you a proper idea of how much stopping power you are applying, which is very important for a car that is able to pick up speed as fast as this car. Yet the brakes are fantastic. There's plenty of grip through the corners thanks to the all-wheel drive system, the quattro system. Now let's speak about the tyres, because this is a bit of an interesting one. At each corner there are Pirelli Cinturato P7 blue tyres. Wouldn't be my first choice, but credit where credit's due. Out here on a cold, somewhat damp day, they are doing very, very well in these conditions. Very well. Now, if you go for the RS version, I think the Vorsprung offers it as well. You can get Michelin Pilot Sports 4 tyres, but no, for the standard car, you have to make, well, I say make do, that sounds rude. You have the Pirellis. I would rather have the Michelins, but to be fair, the Pirellis they are punching their weight. Oh, yes! How am I having this much fun in a big, heavy Audi electric vehicle? This shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. Now let's touch upon the ride. As standard for the e-tron GT, you get conventional springs with adaptive dampers. Now, if you go for the Vorsprung or the RS version, you do get air suspension as standard. Having said that, I think the adaptive dampers in this car do a sterling job. Even in dynamic mode, which I'm in now, the ride is still compliant, it's composed, it's calculated, it's very Germanic. However, if you do want even more comfort, you've got the drive select down here. You've got efficiency, comfort, dynamic and individual. So let's pop it into comfort, and all of a sudden this car turns into a completely different beast. This is now a proper Grand Tourer. It's so supple, which again is impressive when you bear in mind this is on 20-inch alloys as standard. I am staggered by how comfortable this car is. Talking of staggered, that's what you get from the tyre setup. The front axle has a size of 245/45/20, whereas the rear axle gets fatter rubber as it has 285/40/20. It's virtually gliding along this tarmac. Very, very impressive. These seats as well, by the way, they are beautiful. Lovely to look at, lovely to sit in, and you sit nice and low in the car. You're sat in it, you're part of the machine, you're part of the experience. You're not sat on the car feeling a little bit distant from the action. No, Audi puts you right in the hot seat, quite literally, because I've got my heated seat on, lovely, and you really feel properly part of the driving experience. I'm going to say this, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. Now, I drove the Coupe Reborn a while back, and that is a good car, but I think this is the first electric car I've driven that actually feels involving to drive. I've got engagement with this car. Despite its price tag, this is the first electric car that I genuinely have a strong desire for. The Coupe Reborn is good, but it didn't, as much as I did learn to love it after a few days, this car got me right from the get-go. I drove it once and it got under my skin immediately. It's just a shame that there's nowhere in hell I could afford one. This car is so impressive. Audi, you've smashed it with this car. You really have. It's just a pity that, yeah, it's quite expensive. Now, if I may, I'd like to move things away from the road and focus on the interior, because I think it would be a shame not to give this area some special attention. I mean, just look at it. It is wonderful. The first time I dropped myself into this car, I mean drop because when you have the driver's seat set to its lowest, it is quite a long way down, which I quite like, by the way. Yes, the first time I dropped myself into this car, I thought, wow, this feels special. Now, okay, one could argue with the price tag that is almost £100,000, albeit with options, it ought to feel special. If you got in here and you thought, oh, this reminds me of Poundland, then something's gone wrong. But you get my point. It's a very pleasing place to be. It's very premium. Everything you touch, everything you have communication with your fingertips, it just feels well made. As with any modern Audi, you get the wonderful Audi virtual cockpit, which is 12.3 inches in size, which is aided by a 10.1 inch touchscreen. It's all very nice, and I tell you what I really like about the interior. Unlike other Volkswagen Automotive Group cars, Audi hasn't fallen into the trap of burying the climate control functions in the touchscreen. Now, you still get a separate control panel with physical buttons for the climate control. That makes me a very happy Aaron. The interior is a lovely place to be, but if I'm honest, it isn't the most practical. Would you be buying this car for practicality though? I highly doubt it. Now, this car, as an option, does have the non-leather package, meaning there's no cowhide to be found anywhere in here. Ramesh Ranganathan will be delighted. So instead you have very plush materials, which, to be honest, you could be fooled into thinking are leather, but they're not. And you've got this interesting fabric on the seats, which is made using recycled materials such as old plastic bottles. Rumour has it, if you suck the seats hard enough, you can taste old Coca-Cola. No, of course you can't, I made it up. Don't try that at home because you'll look silly. Needless to say, the Audi e-tron GT costs a pretty penny, but what comes as standard? The starting price for the e-tron GT is a little under £86,000, with standard features including 20-inch alloys, quattro all-wheel drive, adaptive dampers, Audi Drive Select, LED lights, powered tailgate, heated front seats, leather seats, 3-zone climate control, keyless entry, Audi virtual cockpit, 10.1 inch touchscreen, reversing camera, parking system plus, and safety features such as autonomous emergency braking and lane departure warning. As mentioned at the top of the video, the Audi e-tron GT can offer a range of around 300 miles. The same can be said for the RS version. The standard car and the RS both use a 93.4 kWh battery, which is larger than this car's cousin, the Porsche Taycan. It is worth noting that the Taycan does have a cheaper starting price. The e-tron GT can be charged at a rate of up to 270 kilowatts DC, and where the right charger is available, 144 miles of range can be achieved in just 10 minutes. You'll need a more leisurely 14 hours to get the battery to full when using a 7 kilowatt wall box charger, and it will take 1.5 hours to get from 10% to 80% when using a 50 kilowatt charger, and 23 minutes to get the same result when using a 150 kilowatt charger. As well as offering a ride that will soothe your brow after a long tiring day at the office, it's refined as well, but come on, you'd expect it to be. Even though this car is riding on big 20-inch alloys, it's quite serene in here. Yes, there is a bit of tyre noise, but it's by no means deafening, and when you've got the music on, you won't notice it anyway. At 70 miles per hour, using my sound meter, this recorded a sound a little over 66 decibels. It was hovering between 66.1 and 66.6, the devil's number. Well, 666, you know what I mean. So yes, I'm sure that this will be a very, very good companion for a longer drive. This car is quintessentially what a Grand Tourer should be. It should have the performance, but also the comfort, the refinement, the usability to be able to do quite a long stint of driving and not feel fatigued at the end of it. This has been such a pleasant car to live with, and it's a pity I've only got it for a week. And for me, a proper petrol head, to say that about an EV, you know Audi is doing something right here. It's fantastic. As much as this car is brilliant, I do need to point out some negative things before this review sounds too biased. Practicality, for example, isn't the e-tron GT's strong point, and the same can be said for the rear space if you're a taller person like me. I'm 6'2", by the way. The boot isn't exactly cavernous either, but I suppose it's pretty respectable with a size of 405 litres. If you need more space, there is also a front boot that can offer up to an additional 81 litres. Another gripe with the car, thanks to the lovely swooping body shape, it does mean rear visibility out of the rear screen isn't fantastic. Yes, the Audi e-tron GT isn't without its flaws, but this will quickly melt away when you drive it. Instead, you're more likely to be in awe of how this car performs. I've driven a few EVs now, but this one really makes waves. So, time to conclude. As much as I have enjoyed the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Coupe Reborn in the past, I have to be honest, the Audi e-tron GT is the first electric car I've had a strong, genuine desire to want to own. And Audi, that is quite some achievement because I am a petrol head dinosaur. I mean, just look at this thing. It looks like it's come from the future. It's fast, comfortable and refined. It's also rather expensive though. So, should you buy, try or avoid the Audi e-tron GT? Well, I think if you can afford it, you should buy it because this car is sensational. So if you're after a smart electric car, a premium electric car, this has to be on your shopping list if you can afford it. A big thank you to Audi UK for loaning me this car for the week, and of course a massive thank you to you guys watching this video. I do hope you have found it useful or enjoyable. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.